Narcissism is a concept deeply rooted in human history, immortalized by ancient myths like that of Narcissus, the young man who fell fatally in love with his own reflection. While the myth symbolizes self-obsession, modern psychology unpacks narcissism as a multifaceted phenomenon, spanning personality traits, cultural influences, and even pathological disorders. From grandiose self-images to manipulative schemes, understanding narcissism requires delving into its psychological foundations, societal rise, and real-world consequences. But what is narcissism really? And how can understanding it help us navigate our increasingly interconnected world? Narcissism is a personality trait marked by an inflated sense of self-importance, a deep need for admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. Psychologists often divide it into two primary types: grandiose narcissism and vulnerable narcissism. Grandiose narcissism is the more recognizable kind. People exhibiting these traits tend to be extroverted, attention-seeking, and dominant. They often appear charismatic and may pursue positions of power, such as becoming leaders or influencers. On the surface, they might seem confident, but their motivation often stems from a desire for status and attention rather than genuine leadership. On the other hand, vulnerable narcissism is less overt. It's characterized by insecurity, hypersensitivity to criticism, and a deep-seated sense of entitlement. People with vulnerable narcissism may appear reserved, but their behavior still revolves around self-focus and validation. Narcissism exists on a spectrum ranging from traits seen in everyday individuals to the extreme manifestation of narcissistic personality disorder, or NPD, a clinical diagnosis affecting 1 to 2% of the population. NPD disrupts relationships, careers, and even personal well-being, as it renders individuals unable to empathize with others or constructively handle setbacks. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders lists key traits like an inflated self-view, problems with empathy, and an excessive need for admiration as hallmarks of this disorder. Now, there is a reason why you're here wanting to know more about this conduct, right? Each day we seem to find more and more examples of this behavior in our work, personal, and social environments. So the question is, why does it feel like we're encountering narcissism more frequently? While narcissism has always existed, cultural factors play a significant role in shaping its prevalence. Over the past few decades, psychologists have observed a gradual rise in narcissistic tendencies within certain cultures. The United States, for instance, has seen a steady increase in these traits since the 1970s. Self-promotion and blind ambition are often celebrated, and as this cultural focus has gained relevance, it has been fueled by the rise of materialism and the self-esteem movement. Social media has only amplified this trend, creating platforms where individuals can curate idealized personas and seek constant validation. Interestingly, while platforms like Instagram and TikTok don't cause narcissism, they provide fertile ground for narcissists to thrive. They allow them to project grandiose images, seek admiration, receive immediate validation in the form of likes and followers, and ultimately give them control over the perception others have of their persona. These are traits central to narcissistic behavior. This produces the effect of magnifying existing tendencies. But with the rise of individuals portraying this conduct, why and how can we learn to identify them? While narcissists often seem self-assured, their behavior can have serious consequences for those around them. Relationships with narcissists can be emotionally draining, as they prioritize their own needs above others. In leadership roles, they may make reckless decisions or engage in unethical behavior. On a societal level, unchecked narcissism can harm institutions and communities. Leaders driven by personal ambition rather than collective good may sacrifice ethical principles for the sake of their egos. Recognizing narcissism in others isn't always straightforward. Narcissists often seem charming, confident, and capable at first glance, but their behavior can reveal red flags over time. Consider the case of Elizabeth Holmes, the former CEO of Theranos, whose charisma and ambition helped her raise nearly $1 billion for a revolutionary blood testing device that ultimately didn't work. Here are some warning signs to watch for. Number 1. An overwhelming focus on image and persona. Narcissists often construct a persona to appear larger than life. Holmes, for instance, modeled herself after Steve Jobs, adopting his signature black turtlenecks and mimicking his product launch style. Number 2. A tendency to lie without hesitation. One of the most concerning traits of narcissistic personalities is their comfort with lying. Unlike most people who may feel anxious or guilty about deception, narcissists often display a calm demeanor, even when caught red-handed. This lack of discomfort can make their lies appear more believable. Whether it's small lies about their past or grandiose fabrications about their achievements, narcissists lie with ease and show no visible discomfort. Number 3. A pattern of manipulation. Narcissists often manipulate others to maintain their sense of control. This manipulation can take various forms, from gaslighting to leveraging relationships for personal gain. For example, Holmes and her partner reportedly silenced dissenters within their company through intimidation and dismissal. Number 4. Resistance to accountability. Even when faced with overwhelming evidence of their wrongdoing, narcissists rarely admit fault. Instead, they might double down on their narrative or shift the blame onto others. When challenged, they may lash out, accuse critics of being haters, or blame external conspiracies. This behavior stems from their need to protect their fragile self-esteem. Recognizing these signs is a vital first step, but understanding the psychological underpinnings of narcissism can provide a deeper perspective. At its core, narcissism is often a defense mechanism. Despite their outward confidence, many narcissists harbor deep insecurities. Their inflated self-image acts as a shield against feelings of inadequacy and vulnerability. Studies suggest that both genetics and upbringing play significant roles in the development of narcissistic traits. For instance, children raised by overly indulgent parents may develop grandiose tendencies, believing they're special and entitled. Conversely, those raised in cold or controlling environments may lean toward vulnerable narcissism, seeking validation to compensate for emotional neglect. Cultural factors also contribute. However, not all narcissistic traits are inherently negative. In moderate amounts, traits like confidence and ambition can drive people to achieve remarkable things. The key lies in balance and self-awareness. While it's crucial to identify narcissistic behavior to protect yourself, it's equally important to approach the subject with empathy. After all, narcissism often stems from deep-seated insecurities and unmet emotional needs. Therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, also known as CBT, and compassion-based approaches have shown promise in helping narcissists reflect on their behavior and develop healthier interpersonal skills. However, progress requires a willingness to change, something that can be challenging for individuals with entrenched narcissistic tendencies. For those dealing with narcissists in their personal or professional lives, setting boundaries is essential. Communicate your needs clearly and don't be afraid to walk away from toxic situations. Remember, you cannot force someone to change, but you can protect your own well-being. Narcissism is a multifaceted concept that touches on personality, psychology, and culture. By understanding its nuances, we can better navigate our interactions with narcissistic individuals and foster a more compassionate society. The next time you encounter someone who seems overly self-absorbed or dismissive of others, take a step back and consider the broader context. Are they displaying traits of grandiose or vulnerable narcissism? Or are they simply seeking connection in a way that might come across as self-centered? Recognizing these distinctions allows us to balance awareness with empathy. By doing so, we can protect ourselves while offering understanding to those who may need it most. Whether dealing with narcissists in personal relationships or recognizing their patterns in leaders and influencers, the key is to remain grounded, trust your instincts, and prioritize ethical, authentic connections. So what do you think? Have you encountered narcissistic traits in someone close to you or even in yourself? Let us know in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights into human behavior. Thank you for watching, and until next time, take care of yourself and your relationships.